Hello, everybody out there. This is Ellis Paul. It's the Wednesday weigh-in show. Hope you're doing well. We're going to begin in about 5 minutes. Just going to wait for the crowd to show up. In the meanwhile, let's play a little music. Let's see here. How about here? Let's try this. Just background music. Nice to have you all here. Let me know where you're from. I hope you're doing well. Nice to be sitting in front of friends playing music. I hope you'll stick around. I'm playing for about an hour or so, maybe more. A little bit of bubbly on the side. Let me know how your day is going and where you're from.
Nobody on the road, nobody on the beat. I feel it in the air.
Cheers, y'all.
Empty lake, empty streets. The sun goes down low.
Beautiful day here in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Though I know you're not home, but I can see you. Your brown skin shining in the sun.
Eric Apgar is here. Nice to see you, brother. He's in Manhasset, Long Island. Stacy's here from Maine. Nice to have you here too, Stace. Do me a favor and spread the word. Let people know we're doing this show, as we do every Wednesday. We'll see you in about 2-3 minutes. Enjoy the music. Grab a beverage. Get in your pajamas. Whatever you want to do.
I never will forget those nights. Wonder if it was a dream. Remember how you made me crazy.
Hey, Jackie, thanks for joining us.
How I made you scream.
Jackie's got her phone or her iPad out in the garden. How are the tomatoes this year?
But babe, I'm gonna get you.
Charlene out there,
Gonna show
vaccinated.
I'm made of.
Hey, Sean, nice to have you here as well. Don Ackerman and Jeannie, thank you guys for coming.
I see you walking really slow, smiling at everyone. And I can tell you, my love
Catherine Harvey
was still
from the starting line of the Boston Marathon. Nice to have you as well. Tom Harris, 8:20 sundown tonight there. Thanks for forming us. I'm here in Charlottesville, Virginia, and you will see the sunset as it touches the horizon around 8:20, according to Tom Harris here. Jose, nice to have you here too, brother. Thanks for tuning in. Tewksbury, Mass. Lots of rain coming. Glad you are here, Lisa. Thank you for coming in. We're going to just start in a couple of minutes. Settle in.
out on the road today. I saw a deadhead sticker on a
Gotta make sure all my
Cadillac.
guitars are set up.
Little voice inside my head said, don't look back, you can never look back. I thought I knew what love was, but did I know?
Jose is in Puerto Rico. Nice to have someone there listening in. Thank you, brother, for tuning in. This Bernstein says technology sucks.
You got the top pulled down, radio on, baby.
Roz is here with Michael somewhere in the background there. Love to have you guys here listening in. Thank you. And Mike Uhas from Wisconsin. Folks from all over the world listening in tonight. We're going to be starting in just a couple minutes. We hope you'll stick around for the show. Invite friends to come in and listen. I can do whatever the hell I want. No plan. All right, let's do our opening brand here, our little commercial. I gotta get this thing out of the way in order to do it. Nice to have you all here. Here's the opening of the show. Check this out. this is some fancy shit going on here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday Weigh-In. I'm here every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Tonight I'm going to be playing through some new songs. They're still being worked on. This one is called Shane's Lost Weekend. Good practice before I record them for albums. My friend Shane called me up. He was in a world of hurt. He said, Ellis, I'm leaving Salt Lake City in the Mormon church. And if I could come your way, I gotta get out of Utah for a couple days. Clear my head, think and pray and find a path back home. And I was in San Francisco for some shows. What kind of friend would I be if I had told him no? The first thing to go is the underpants. He swung them overhead, did a little dance. Drank some coffee, drank some beer, smoked a little reefer. I said, slow down here. He kissed a girl, didn't know who she was. Ate a little bacon just because. Was worried how the story would end. I was just the wingman on Shane's Lost Weekend. I took him to a party, I took him to a show, I took him out on the dance floor at a drag queen disco. Taught him my favorite curses. He taught me a couple Book of Mormon verses. He said, Ellis, I'm worried my whole town will disown me. Sometimes you gotta lose everything to be free. He said, if I'm checking out, well, I'm taking God with me. The first thing to go was the underpants. Swung them overhead, did a little dance. Drank some whiskey, drank some beer, smoked a little reefer. Slow down here. He kissed a girl, didn't know who she was. Ate some more bacon just because. I was wondering how it all would end. But I was just the wingman on Shane's Lost Weekend. Panties are in a knot, 'cause I put your religion on the spot. Well, it could have been the Catholics, Muslims, or the Jews. This is one man's tale, one true story of San Francisco in all its glory, of how he fought through myths and doubts and rules. I guess it all depends on who and what you are. Are you standing before the pearly gates or standing behind bars? The first thing to go is the underpants. He swung them overhead, did a little dance. Drank some coffee, drank some beer, smoked a little reefer. Slow down here. He kissed a girl, didn't know who she was. Ate more bacon just because. And if you're wondering how the story ends, Shane is doing well since I joined him on his last Lost Weekend. All right, that's a brand new song. One of the many that I'm working on right now, right this very week. I'm working on 3 new songs in the past month or so, starting to get on that that final quarter before you start recording an album. So I need a broader selection of songs, so I'm writing down ideas and writing. I love playing that song, and it is a true story. A song like that, you almost wouldn't want to put anything else on it but your voice and guitar. Am I right? Sounds pretty great just like that. Like it's a folk song, who knew? So that's one of the new songs I'm working on. I'm going to try this one too. This one's going through some major in-house renovations. But why not? Should I do it? Why not? Let's do it. This is called The Gift. It's also a true story about the best gift I was ever given. There was a time when my life broke down. I was stranded in music town. Couldn't see where the darkness would end, or if the light would begin. She called me up from a coffee shop, you know, the one at the Belmont stop. She said, it sounds like you could use a friend. Hey, I brought a gift for you. Ribbon in an old shoebox. Inside I heard the tick of a pocket watch. She said, all the time you need's in your hands. A matchbox to burn away all of the ghosts, and sage for the ones that haunt you the most, and a cocktail umbrella for a rainy day, and a bluebird feather if you need to fly away. I held these trinkets from an old thrift shop. Tried to say thank you, my voice got caught, 'cause every treasure that she revealed played out my life like a movie reel. She put a ribbon on an old shoebox with a roll of coins for the jukebox. Van Morrison's a quarter away. A postcard, so you're never far from home, of a little girl holding a pine cone somewhere on the coast of Maine, and a mini bottle of scotch she stole from an aeroplane. Open it up, open it up. We pour the whole bottle right into our coffee cup. I've seen an ocean of years roll past. Now my memories are old sea glass, and I can still see her hair in waves, and I'll never forget the day she put a ribbon on an old shoebox. I can smell rose petals and butterscotch. Sweeter days are coming your way. A top hat
stole from a Monopoly game. And I don't have a line here, I know it's lame. Skeleton Kiefer along the way. And a bluebird's feather if you need to fly away.
There you go. Those are the two newest songs that I have. They were debuted over on the Patreon site. If you're a member of Patreon, as soon as I resettle into my new place, which is going to be happening in the next week or so, I'm going to be recording those and sending them out to Patreon just how I play them to you, just voice and guitar. So they'll get the demo of the song, the vocal guitar demo. That's what they get for being members of Patreon. I'll send them week by week. I'm going to start throwing the new album at members of Patreon, just the guitar vocal versions of the song. And so I can start getting feedback from people on the songs, whether they like them or not, and start choosing what songs are going to be on this record, because I've got about 20 ideas. I want to write another 10 in the next 3 or 4 months, so that I can dive in December and January and record the next record. And again, folks on Patreon are going to get that record when it's completed earlier than anybody else too. A lot of benefits over there, and including the ability to buy the record at a cheaper price on vinyl and on CD when it comes out. So that is called The Gift. I just added, I'm trying to think of all the things. That was a gift that I got from a woman named Patty Griffin. And she, when I was going through a tough time about 24, 25 years ago, she just gave me this very, very thoughtful gift. It was a shoebox with a ribbon tied around it. And inside there was a key to unlock the future and sage to burn the past and paperclip to hold it together. There were all these Tolkien items that were really, really beautiful. And, you know, I'm at that age where I'm just looking at my autobiography and saying, like, how do I write about those things that I experienced that we all go through, and how do I get it in a 3 or 4 minute song, you know, or less. It is called The Gift, Eric, not The GIF, but The Gift. Thank you, Sean, for that. It really was, still is the best gift I ever got. I mean, my dad got me a car once in high school, but it was not like a fancy car. I think it was a Ford Pinto. I mean, I got one of those. It's nice to have a car, but not one that will blow up when it's rear-ended. You know what I mean? Carrie Lee says she's loving the renovations. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to be working on all these as time goes on, and yeah, you know, it's fun to see how they evolve from draft to draft to draft. Like me I just put in over the weekend a top hat from Monopoly game in the box. I just got to figure out what the next line is. It's pretty fun. Tom Harris says, my Pinto got me to California from Oklahoma. Yeah, I think I went cross country in my Pinto as well, from Boston to California and back. You know, the ladies weren't so keen on it, but it got me everywhere I needed to go, right? What did you guys have as your first car? Put it in the feed so we can make fun of each other. Anybody have anything fun that they had for a first car? My dad got me a van that had shag carpet. It was so bad. I don't know what he was thinking. He was one of these people that would just come home with the car, not allow me to get involved in the search for it. It's a gift. He wanted to pick it out. Oh, look at this. 72 MGB. I'm trying to think of what that looks. To me, that might be a cool car. Chrysler LeBaron here over with Stacy Rico. Catherine Harvey had a Datsun. Sean had a 72 Dodge Charger, bright yellow on the top, a Buick LeSabre. Michael Doherty had a 1986 Chevy G10 van. Drove it to a lot of Venn Construction shows and Ellis Paul shows. That's awesome. A Corvair for Dana Prim. Michelle DeLong says Rob had a 72 GM Hornet. That's a cool car. A little British convertible. That's right. I know exactly what that is. Yeah. You don't count. You're not in the curve that I'm talking about. Like this one, a little blue old Toyota Corolla in Seville when she was at the University of Virginia. I didn't know you went here, Linda. That's amazing. Honda Accord with Lisa Christman. 66 Marlin for Laura Brolin. Volkswagen Bus 73, Eric Apgar. That's what I'm talking about. I had one of those as a freshman in college. 55 Chevy with Tom Harris. 83 Buick Skylark with Rosalind. Survived a head-on collision, says Michael. 73 Beetle for Tina. Jane says Plymouth Barracuda, 65 Battleship Gray, supposed to be silver. They fade to gray. A Gremlin, says Rosalind. And a 64 Plymouth Valiant was next. Wow, Bill, you had the goods, man. You had the cool cars. I've never owned, I love cool cars. I just saw one of my friends who's driving around in a really beautiful car. God, I can't remember the name of it. But I mean, I love cool looking cars, but I've never owned one. I've put my money into instruments, which is too bad. Yeah. Carol Sharshik says, my mom's hand-me-down 1970 Ford LTD. Those things are like boats. Once drove 13 people in an Irish setter to Walden Pond. Well, and why wouldn't you? If you could, right? You're making Emerson and Thoreau proud there. Patrick Gamble says the first car was a 72 Super Beetle. A Miss Virginia Beach. And oh my God. Wow. At least she could talk though. Just not to you for months. Yeah, memories. I'm sorry you went through that. That's rough. It's hard to impress someone when you're pulling them from a car wreck. Eric Apgar says you should check out the song Mighty Big Car by Fred Eaglesmith. And Catherine Harvey said, it's cool you had a VW bus. I was going through my garage because Laurie and I are in the middle of a move here and came across pictures of my VW bus. And after we graduated from college, my roommates and I, maybe 4 or 5 guys, took it across the country, and we had to push start it for most of the trip to get it going. But we made it there and back, and it was an adventure. I think of all the miles I've put on cars, and right now I'm driving a Honda Civic. What am I saying? I'm driving a Honda CR-V, not a Civic. It's a little SUV, and pretty cool. Jenny Ragler says she had a Toyota Corolla too, and then an orange and blue VW van. Sean, I am not moving back to Maine. I'm just moving outside of town, about 10 miles outside of town. I love it here in Charlottesville. The weather is just right. I miss Maine, though. I want to get a place up in Maine eventually. If I ever get to the point where I can afford to live in both places, I'd love to just go back and forth. Maybe in a decade or so, once my kids are out of college and there's money available. Tom Harris says Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. Great song. It's, what can you say? Ba-da-da-da, dum-da-da. I don't think I have that in my my book, but it is a great song. Speaking of songs, why don't we get back to some music? Let's see here. Why not? We'll do this. Michael, thank you for the tip in the tip jar tonight, for keeping the boat afloat here. I'm hearing more and more about cancellations happening in Texas. My friend's Nobody's Girl just canceled a bunch of Texas dates, or the venues did. Let's see, we'll do this one. This one is called You'll Never Be This Young Again. We're getting into a fast car battle here between Fast Cars Good, but Fast Cars by the Buzzcocks is even better. Tom Harris says a resoundingly not. I don't know the Buzzcocks Fast Cars, so I can't put a judgment on that. But Fast Car is a perfect story song by Tracy Chapman, I gotta say. And man, she just opens her mouth and sunshine comes out. Her voice is just one of those voices, you know? This goes out to Stacy. I met a walking man, his life fit in his pockets, his thumb was in midair. On a road in Millinocket, a 6-string guitar, his girlfriend's locket, going my way, my way. Now for a dream he left the mills, he left the bricks, he left the mortar. I told him I could take him to the Massachusetts border. He sang like a jukebox on an endless roll of quarters. Down the highway on a bright lit sunny day. Oh, you'll never be this young again. The train conductor's calling you take, if it ain't now, then when? Oh, the mountain top ain't gonna wait forever. Fill your lungs with oxygen and take your first step. Breathe out, breathe in. You'll never be this young again. All night, an old friend said, Ellis, I've been living in a cubicle, making cold calls, popping pharmaceuticals. I thought my whole life would read more like a musical. So write your own West Side Story, shake off the shackles, buy a tackle box or boat, a cabin on Sebago to think, to float when the typewriter's clacking, the novel gets wrote. I'm telling you now, no risk, no glory. Oh, you'll never be this young again. The train conductor's calling you ticket, if it ain't now, then when? Oh, the mountain top ain't gonna wait forever. Fill your lungs with oxygen and take your first step. Breathe out, breathe in. You'll never be this young again. All right, you'll never be this young again. Young again, again. You only get so many heartbeats. You only get so many first kisses, so sweet. Dreams don't come easy, they don't come cheap. Don't let the haters kick them out of you. Out of you. Oh, you'll never be this young again. The train conductor's calling you
change. If it ain't now, then when? Go the mountain top, ain't gonna wait forever. Fill your lungs with oxygen and take your first step. Breathe out, breathe in. You'll never be this young again. Alright, you'll never be this young again. Again. Oh, you'll never be this young again.
All right, I'll never get tired of singing that song. Reminds me of The World Ain't Slowing Down. It's just got that sort of very positive, hooky. Hope you guys will join me on Friday night. I'm going to be doing another one of these live stream shows. We call the Friday night show the Traveling Medicine Show. And then on Sunday night, I am doing a Patreon show, but I start publicly and then shut off all the public forums on Facebook. So it's just me and the Facebook crew. I wanted to be debuting a new song. It's about Rockwell, Kent. And I wonder if I might be able to share that with you. I'm just going to go to another page here just for a second. How would I do that? Let me find out. Rockwell Kent was a famous painter, and he lived on Monhegan Island, where I do vacation trips with fans of mine, and just a beautiful painter. I'll see if I can find a couple of his paintings to share with you all. Let's see here. That's one of my favorites. And let's see. I'm going to just share screen. Just like this. This is a painting of his here. Up in this corner. You can see how beautiful it is. And these are all paintings of his. This is one of his most famous ones. How do I make this thing bigger? There we go. And the island still kind of looks like that. It's just this really beautiful sleepy place. And this inn, as you can see where my cursor is still on it. I've been there for, let me see, how many years? This is my third trip. There was just over this summer, and it was so much fun. We're going to do it again next summer with Vance Gilbert and a third special guest. I haven't quite made up my mind who it's going to be yet. But if you're interested in it, just keep that in mind. I'll announce it when we are going live with all of the details. But Vance Gilbert and I and the third party will be sitting in the round every night of the week on Monhegan Island at the Monhegan Island House, which is an old inn that was built in the late 1800s there. And we bookend that trip with a show at Boothbay Harbor at the Opera House and with One Longfellow in Portland, Maine. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of fun. I don't think, no, Patty is not in the picture. She'd be probably too expensive to get out on the island, honestly, at this point. She's playing some pretty big places. So, he's a great painter, and he was one of the most famous illustrators and painters of the first half of the 20th century. And then he got involved in all of the McCarthy communist blackball thing, and he essentially got blackballed by the art community. And when he passed away, he willed all of his paintings, which were so beautiful, to the Russian government. So those are the folks that own his paintings, oddly enough. So anyway, but he was in love with Monhegan Island like I am, and I wanted to write a song about painters on Monhegan Island, and inspired by by him. So I'm going to try and finish that song by Sunday, and I'll be debuting it on the Patreon site if you want to hear it. It's sounding pretty good right now, so I'm excited about it. Nice to have you all here. I want to thank Joshua for love in the tip jar. Thank you guys for contributing to the tip jar. I'm just starting to hear about the second wave of venues canceling shows. So, you know, it's one of those things where the only way that I'm getting to make a living this fall might be right here on the live stream. And I'll do it 3 times a week. That's why I have to do it so many times a week, because got to feed the babies, as they say. Thank you, Dana. Thank you for being here, by the way. And thank you for tuning in as you do. You want to hear Once Upon a Summertime, Words, Clarity, or She Was. All right. I'll do one for you. Let's do She Was. But I better get the words. Lord knows I could use them. Let's see here. We got the 3-ring binder of love for these special moments. I want to thank Carol again, Sharshik, for the love in the tip jar. Thank you, darling, for keeping the home fires burning here at Ellis Paulville. She Was. There it is. Sun is setting upon Charlottesville, Virginia, and I'm here. I haven't started to break down this room, but it's going to be happening pretty damn quick. This whole space is going to be in boxes, and then we are going to be out in Crozet doing the show from there. Let's bring this over here. Haven't done this in a while. Sean, thank you for the love and the tip jar. I think it's close enough for folk music. She ain't worth the whiskey. She ain't worth the tears. She ain't worth the barroom fight, a restless night, her ghost still here. She ain't worth the roses she's lost among thorns. She ain't worth the words you'd waste to mend the trust that's torn. She ain't worth the midnight. She ain't worth the dawn. She ain't worth the pedestal that you placed her on. She ain't worth the hotel sheets twisted on the bed. She ain't worth the trembling or the whispers that you said. But she was, you know she was. You're fooling yourself because she was. She ain't worth the mystery. She ain't worth the risk. She ain't worth the medicine.
crust across your lips. She ain't worth the vertigo. She ain't worth the fall. She ain't worth surrender to the drama of it all. But she was, in truth, you know she was. She was. You're fooling yourself because she was. She was, you know she was. She was. You're fooling yourself because she was. She ain't worth apologies. She ain't worth the right or the wrong. She ain't worth the melody. She ain't worth this song. But she was. That was She Was, a song for my friend Dana Prim. Thank you for tuning in, Dana. We'll get to the others maybe as the week goes on, okay? And thank you for that. It's nice to know I've got a lot that I'm very proud of, and a few that I'd love to edit. But you know how it is. You have to love what you can give. I got to tell you, folks, I've been watching the Olympics, and it's so exciting. Some of you know that I was a track and field athlete when I was younger, in my teens and 20s, and ran for Boston College in Division I and got a scholarship there. Made it affordable to attend a good university because I was an athlete, and so I'm lucky that I ran, and I still love the sport. Most men are crazy about football or basketball or baseball, but I'm a track and field guy, and there's nobody I know who's close to me that I can share some of this stuff with. But this Olympics is it's so much caught up in millennials and the pandemic, and in almost every sport there's this show of like huge like grace and humility, and like Simone Biles, am I pronouncing that right? Her willingness to admit that something is wrong. I can't do this. If I continue to compete in this, I'm going to either hurt myself or screw up the team's chances to win a medal, because she's taken the place of someone that was present, and the issues that she was facing were taking her out of her routines to the point where she was in midair, not remembering what her body was supposed to do. And if you know what she does with her body, she could easily be paralyzed if she gets lost mid-routine. And that kind of distraction from anxiety, depression, or whatever it was she was going through was enough to make her just gracefully say, I can't do this. I got to back out. And I just think it's so, it's almost like, there's no crowds there. There's nothing like that there. And no one's clapping and cheering, which can get you centered in the moment. And it's like all the athletes, all of them, are recognizing, this is the Olympics, but there's bigger things at hand going on. And like, for example, in track and field, it was one of the best track and field competitions for high jump. And the two people that were tied at the end of the high jump routine
voted just to share the gold medal rather than to continue competing for it. They just took a tie, and they gave them both gold medals. And they were friends, dear friends. They were from competing countries, but they'd been competing so long together and going in back-to-back clashes for years. They're the two best high jumpers in the world. And they finally just said, let's just share it. And that moment was so amazing, so amazing. So that's incredible to me. Things like that going on where it's like, there's more important things happening. In track and field, they're filling up the semifinals and quarterfinals with so many people in the distance races that almost every single distance race so far has had someone fall and trip up other people, like dominoes. They'll put 20 people in a race around a track, and someone's bound to fall and take other people out. And the grace and humility those people who've fallen have shown each other, and forgiveness and all of that has been pretty extraordinary. So it's a different time. It's a different generation of people and how they think, and I'm really loving watching it unfold. It's unlike any other year, and it's just a beautiful thing. So if you get a chance, check it out. You can go to highlights. I know that NBC is looking at some disastrous ratings this year, because I think I don't know why people aren't that interested in having no crowd there. It's sort of like watching a practice with the best people alive doing it. But there's been some great races so far. And if you get a chance, check out the 400-meter hurdles race in track and field. Both men's and women's world records were set. And this is an event that has been fairly uninteresting for years, and now it's the most interesting event in all of track and field. So if you get a chance, check out the 400-meter hurdles final for men and for women. You'll see the two best track and field races of your life. And check out that high jump as well. Is anybody watching the Olympics? Does anybody care about the Olympics out there? Let me know. I'm just curious. Y'all are sitting here with me rather than watching NBC and watching the Olympics, which I'm sure are on right now. My favorite events are the 1,500 meters and the 5,000 meters men, and they're coming up on Friday. There we go. Yeah, Tom Harris is watching it. Bill Goodall says yes. Eric Apgar rose. Yeah. There's my buddy. There's the other track and field fan on the planet, Paul Libby, who I ran with when I was in high school at road races. Sweet guy. He's a huge track and field fan, I know. Eric Apgar is watching the park skateboarding right now as we do our show here, which is pretty amazing. Yeah, it's just it's inspiring, and there's sort of like a cultural shift happening with the next generation of athletes. Like, people are still obviously giving it their all, but recognizing the bigger picture, which I think there's something in the DNA of the millennials where it's like, this is important, but let's not forget those kind of things. It's not win at all expenses kind of thing. Charlene says the men's diving has been spectacular. And Sean says it's such an amazing time for our athletes to be competing in a world of craziness. And I gotta say, 300 athletes have tested positive for the COVID virus in the village. So COVID is still affecting a massive amount of people, and they're putting people that were housed with those other people in quarantine because of it. So I'm looking forward to the 1,500, the 5,000 meters, and the marathon, both men and women. It's going to be a fun day for me on Friday. So we'll talk about it. The marathon's going to finish during our show, so maybe I'll have a little phone on Friday night so we can watch. Tom Harris says name, image, and likeness has hit college sports. It's a big change. Yeah. Yep. It is a big change. What Tom is saying is that if you're in college now, you can market yourself, your name, and your image outside of the NCAA to apparel companies and soda companies and cigarette companies or whatever it is that you want to make money, because obviously colleges are creating world-class athletes and but sort of not paying. I mean, they're paying for their college education and their dorm expenses, and sometimes under the table they're giving them a little bit more than that. But yeah, I feel for college athletes who put their bodies at risk and do all of these things without getting financial payment for doing it. A lot of people get injured in college because of that and can't compete outside of it. So I kind of feel like that should be the case. I think it's good. Yeah, exactly. I think about, imagine this, for example. I went to college with Doug Flutie, and I got to see that whole mania around Doug Flutie, who won the Heisman Trophy his senior year. And every time we tried to do a track practice, when the football team was on the football field that we were running around, during that year, there would be 20 paparazzi with cameras at the football field. And yeah, Doug Flutie would have been a millionaire in college had he been able to market himself. He just had to wait. Anyway, nice to be sitting here with you folks. If you got a song you want to hear, let me know in the feed. I'll play it. But this is sort of the day where we're talking. And how are you guys doing out there? This is a chance for me to hear from you. And, I'd like to know, are you worried about the virus where you are? I know in places like Vermont and Massachusetts, the rate of vaccination is pretty high. So I don't know if people are, comfortable right now with going out and stuff. Yeah, Steve. I mean, basketball is one thing, but track and field, for the longest time, wasn't a professional sport. And, everybody that was in the Olympics in the 70s and going into the 80s until the rules lightened up, was living on subsistence wages under $30,000 a year and trying to compete with countries like Germany and Russia and all these Eastern Bloc countries that were basically funding the lives of the athletes that they were bringing on. Meanwhile, if you were a marathoner like Bill Rogers, you had to have a day job and you couldn't accept prize money for winning races. So you had to somehow run 20 miles a day and still work an 8-hour job in order to survive. So basketball may be a different story, but I know in track and field, I'm very happy that they're allowing, professional athletes who normally would have been amateur to be competing. And that way we're seeing the best athletes in the sport. And so, yeah. Don Ackerman says he's going back to wearing a mask at the store. And what's this? I've been away for a while. So when is the big moving day? I think you mean we're going to be moving pretty much August 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, taking several cars back and forth and trucks. And we have a team of movers coming in on one of the days. So we're going to move just casually over the course of 5 days. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. Jenny says, I'm in Colorado on vacation. I watched the news about my state of Ohio. Cases have tripled in the last 10 days. Yeah, it's just getting to be pretty thick. Paul's family reunion on Matinicus has been canceled. Yeah. I'm worried about the shows I have. I've got a string of, I don't know, not a lot of shows. I was afraid this might happen, so I didn't go hog wild on booking shows, but I do have a handful in September, a handful in October, and a handful in November, and I'm worried that, again, I'm going to be, what can you do? It is what it is, right? I am urging people to wear masks and just follow the science, but I'm also getting sick of having to explain it to people who should know better. Yeah. All right, I'm going to do one more song here for you before I sign off. Thank you for the love in the tip jar tonight. Greatly appreciated. Thank you for keeping the kids in Pop-Tarts. Let me see. What would I like to play? Charlotte asking if my kids are cool about the new digs. Yes. It's going to be great. They live with their mom mostly. With the pandemic and stuff, we weren't bringing them back and forth. I just go over there every day, and every day I can. We'll see. I'm moving, I'm grooving, I'm proving you can make a living online. In Virginia, I hear ya, you can make a living online. Despite COVID-19. You can make it on the folk music scene. Go online, online, good times. You know what I want to do is I want to do a song by Tom Prasad Rao, $20 bill. Let me see if I can find it in the old book of love. Looking. Bernie, nice to see you here. Bernie's worried about the shows like I am. All right, where would that be? Well, I can't find it, so I'm going to do another one. We'll do this one. This seems like a good one anyway. Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your town to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming, or you'll sink like a stone. But the times, they are changing. Come writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, and keep your eyes open, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheels are in spin, and there's no telling who that it's naming. For the loser is none, will be later the win. For the times, they are a-changing. Come mothers, fathers, throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly changing. Please get out of the new one. If you can't lend a hand for the times, they are a-changing. The times, they are a-changing. Thanks for sitting with me tonight, y'all. I'm going to go back to filling boxes and packing up plates. Sending love to you all. I hope to see you on Friday night. No word on a guest or anything. I'm just trying to get through August without a lot of pressure. We're not having as many people attending shows as I've noticed in this month. So we'll get back to it in September with a more hearty list of guests, and I'm looking forward to it. We're slowly putting the lights away, filling up the space in the middle room with boxes, and we're going to be moving at the end of next week, and we're very excited. It's going to be a beautiful upgrade to our lives. So we're taking you along for the ride. Can you all see the star in the window? I don't know what it is. It's that thing right there, though. Who knows? Halley's Comet or something. We'll see you guys next week. Have a beautiful, we'll see you on Friday. Have a beautiful couple days. We'll see you then. Cheers.